What is going on, everybody? This is the Lone Chemist Podcast. My name is Johnny. I'm the Lone Chemist. This is episode 22, I believe. And so I'm not the Lone Chemist today. I actually have another chemist here with me. It's my friend Tyler from graduate school. Say hi to the people, Tyler.
Hi, people.
Well, okay, not very original, but it's okay. I'm going to crack this beer real quick. It's apple juice, of course. Ooh. So, Tyler goes to graduate school. He's at a different field than me. I'm in organic chemistry. Why don't you explain a little bit what you do, Tyler, real quick?
Basically, what it comes down to is fucking magnets, how they work.
You're fucking the magnets, really?
No, the magnets are fucking me.
Oh, well, no, sure. Cool.
That's grad school, man.
It's grad school. Someone told me that, like, grad school is a good allegory for gambling, where it's like everybody sucks at gambling, but everybody still does it. And you keep betting and getting deeper into the red, but then you get a little victory to bring you back into the green, and you go deeper in the red, then a little bit in the green. And then once you're like maybe $200, like out of the, the red, that's when you get your PhD, basically.
Yeah. I think it could be extended even further to just being a general allegory for addiction, where you go through hell and, deal with withdrawal and everything. But as soon as you get that sweet, sweet high.
Yeah, put the shit closer. People can hear you. Yeah. Sweet high.
The sweet, sweet high of a good result, or, some heroin going into your arm or whatever. But that makes it all worth it.
But you know what's weird is, like, the results don't really even, like, they don't get me high anymore, honestly. Like, I'm like,
maybe
oh,
results
shit.
just aren't good, Johnny.
Yeah.
Maybe you need some better results.
Well, the results are good. They're great. I mean, I told my boss to S my D like a couple days ago. But
yeah.
But yeah, no, pumped you're here, man. We've been talking to this for a while, and we haven't done a live podcast yet since I got my somewhat acceptable and professional podcast set up, which is cool.
Yeah, man, this is a pretty sweet setup you got.
Craigslist, man. Craigslist is not just for sexual acts. They actually sell some pretty decent stuff on there. So it's.
I just use it for sex.
Man, me too. But lo and behold, I realized that it was something different.
Sex in apartments.
That's true. And Tyler brought over some great beer. Let's see. This is what's it called again? It's called Now and Then.
Yeah, Now and Then by Half Acre.
Dude, it's like so weird. Like, lactose and beer, like, it seems like a match that's just like not even conducive to a good beer, but it tastes like naturally, it's like so good.
Oh yeah, it's you start seeing it more and more these days. I think lacto fermented beers are becoming, like mainstream almost.
What's other like weird additive I've seen in beer? I've seen like stone cherry in beer a lot, like with like sour beers, like
Or they say like tastes like stone fruit, which is basically a fruit with a pit, or something. And it's just a common way to describe beer taste.
Yeah, or maybe they have some amygdala in it. They don't get the pit out, so people can get a little hydrogen cyanide in their beer.
Yeah,
maybe.
For sure. Yeah, just some texture,
Dude, like, you ever notice like I mean, you and I like good craft beers and stuff. You ever notice that a lot of those fucking reviews are so pretentious? Like they.
Yes, I do notice that.
It's like you smell like, it tastes like leather, armpit, and toasted coconut.
I mean, well, it's funny though. I mean, as I'm sure you're aware, like a lot of the same compounds that, oenophiles, like wine lovers, taste for,
resveratrol,
are present in beer as well. And
alpha
so
acids,
a lot of those same, there's equal flavor complexity in beer that people taste for. It's just, I don't know, hasn't reached the level of refinement that like wine has, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's like trying to get there,
Yeah, like I don't know, like I in my opinion, I think like the complexity of beer is a little more interesting than wine, because like for me, red wine always tastes the same to me. But that's just me.
Maybe you've tasted more beer. I don't know.
True.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Because I'm sort of the same. I can't really taste, like, if you tell me what to taste in wine or something, like I can usually pick it out.
That's so true. Someone says like, this has like a hint of oak. And I'm like, oh, totally.
Oh yeah.
This has a hint of like maple in it. Oh yeah, totally.
Right, exactly.
But then like I'm like, okay.
If you ask me to just like cold call out like, flavor profile or whatever, it's I don't fucking know. It tastes like beer. It tastes like, wine or like coffee. If you ever had like single origin coffee.
What's that coffee that I think lemurs shit out the pits for it, and then like people like grind it up? Have you heard about that?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like apparently the best tasting coffee in the world, but it's lemur shit.
I think it costs like $80 a cup or something. Yeah, it's like if you're not a Saudi prince, then you're not drinking it.
Well, you can buy it pretty easily. It's just like, why would you spend that much money for a fucking cup of coffee? And why would you also why would you want to ingest lemur shit? Like, that's the most important question.
Like, you always wonder, like, what the first person who did that was thinking. Sort of like, cow's milk or something.
That's true.
Or, like, fermented goat's milk. Or, like, all the weird shit that people around the world eat. Like,
Yeah.
the first person that did, like, fed some fucking lemur coffee and then was like, oh, I'm going to eat this shit. Like, some fucking weirdo figured this out.
Yeah, isn't that so weird? It's like there's so many dishes that I feel like have no business like being together, like for the ingredients. Like for example, like chicken mole, like chicken and chocolate and chilies and stuff. Like I feel like chocolate is like kind of a far cry away from like cooked meat.
However, it is like a nice, like, if you take out like all the sugar and butter, that makes like a chocolate bar taste like a chocolate bar.
Sure.
Then it's
More of a
like
spice,
nice, bitter thing. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. But it's just like, yeah, but I guess you're right. Like the aesthetic distance between like what chocolate actually is and what we actually tasted. Yeah, it's interesting.
For sure.
What else is there? There's people are drinking like aloe now, which is like, I mean, that's basically like just like gel and water.
They put like aloe in water.
Well, so like they take the aloe plant, they cut it open, they basically like they drink the fruit of the plant, let's say.
Oh, I feel like I've seen this at Whole Foods or some shit.
Yeah, actually, it tastes pretty good, and like actually, I use it like it's good for absorption of nutrients post workout. Is what I've used it for. There's a big tub of it in my fridge actually. Oh. But like, who was daring enough to be like, I'm gonna drink this shit? Especially when they're like,
look at this spiky ass plant.
cut it open. And also, like, I mean, like people back then, like they had to know like amanocillin, like all the death cap mushrooms and shit. Like they had to be pretty daring to eat a plant out of the wild.
I was reading, this was probably on like Reddit or some shit, but apparently people in like, I don't know, Micronesia or something were, as to figure out what shit on their island was safe to eat, they would just have like one person
try it. The guinea pig.
Yeah. So what they would do is they would do every method of preparation they knew how. So like they would boil it first, they would roast it, they would salt it, they would, do all of the different preparative things, and then they would remove them until you got back to raw.
Oh.
And then when the person died or something,
it's like what went wrong. Actually, it's kind of like a really perverse scientific method, right? It's like you move one variable at a time and you just see what happens.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it is science. Yeah.
very
bohemian. Also playing with people's lives.
It's like it's like the canary and the submarine when they didn't have oxygen tanks back then, so like they use the canary to see when the oxygen's running out.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that shit's weird. That's fucked. Yeah.
So
man,
it's a person.
So people actually in the chat are talking about some of them are chem majors. So people.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we're saying save yourself while you still can. I'm just kidding. No, like I guess people are saying like are you guys trying to dissuade us from going to grad school next year? Absolutely not. We're giving you a accurate insight into the mental state of what you're in when you're approaching the fourth year of your graduate career.
Or when you're in the pits of the fourth year.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah. Oh shit! I forgot we didn't just start it.
Yeah,
like
we've been here for a while, my guy.
Fuck, man. Oh man.
Yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint, and there's highs and lows. And if you think you want to do chemistry, then get a PhD in chemistry. If you think you want to do something else, then don't.
do something else.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, if my channel takes off, I have like 1,300 subs right now. Like, I'd love to be a YouTuber, to be honest with you. Like, they make great money, man. Like, but I mean, I started this for like a hobby. I'm not trying to get money out of this shit. Like, I rather just like have fun with it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's also like a sadistic part of it where it's like, if you depend on a hobby for your livelihood, it then slowly becomes not a hobby anymore because you're desperate to actually make money off it and your livelihood depends on it. So like I'd like to actually have my career be a career as opposed to like have my hobby be my career. Because like,
yeah, I went through the same exact line of thinking.
Yeah.
I almost went to music school.
Yeah. I meant you're a nasty fucking viola player, right?
Cello.
Oh, cello. That's right. I knew it was some string instrument.
Yeah, but I mean, I was making the choice. But when I was picking colleges, like, am I gonna try to go to music school? And eventually I was like, I really like playing the cello. And I don't want to not like playing the cello. And I got a lot of advice from a lot of people. And it,
Yeah.
it turns out that as soon as, exactly what you said, as soon as you start doing a hobby for a career, it ceases to be a hobby.
Which is, it sucks so much because it's like people always say, like, if you love what you do, you don't have to work a day in your life. But like to really love what you do, if you extend that logic, it should be somewhat of a hobby, right? Like it's like a hobby fuels your soul, right? It like actually fuels you to actually do it. But then once you depend on that hobby singularly for your livelihood, then it's like you're a slave to it almost. It's
Right,
kind of,
exactly. Yeah.
it's kind of weird. I wish that shit wasn't like that, but
Yeah.
but now we're
life's cruel joke.
life's cruel joke. But yeah, now we're doing chemistry and mixing shit, and I'm probably gonna get cancer in a couple years, but it's cool. Dude, I got a face full of pyridine and methanol the other day. That wasn't fun.
Oh, nice.
How my balls? Not
My condolences to your
future sperm.
future kids, yeah, or lack thereof.
Well, keep in mind the sterility is temporary. So I mean,
It is.
Yeah, I think it's temporary.
Oh.
I don't know
Nice.
if yeah. So I don't know if it's like an actual like potent sterilizing agent. I know that it kills sperm. I'm not sure if it actually makes you sterile though. So
Okay.
yeah.
Maybe that's male birth control. Maybe we solved it. It's like temporarily vasectomize yourself. I don't know if that's a word, but it is.
Yeah,
to me.
but yeah, I guess I'll be shooting blanks for a couple weeks.
Yeah. And then methanol makes you go blind and die?
Yeah, well, it didn't get my mouth though, so I was good.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
as long as I didn't ingest it. Yeah, but
Don't you absorb it through the skin too, to some degree?
yeah, but you actually have to I think you have to pass through your digestive tract to actually go blind. I'm pretty sure because I've gotten methanol in my gloves before, and I know it's toxic.
To go blind. Okay.
Yeah, to go blind, you actually have to ingest it. I believe you have to metabolize it.
Okay. So yeah, my friend told me a story about a guy who was driving a chemical truck full of methanol and crashed the thing, got doused in methanol, and was in the hospital for a while, like 36 hours or so. And while he was in the hospital, the doctors gave him 1 shot of alcohol per hour so that his liver was preferentially metabolizing ethanol rather than methanol until the methanol was just passed as methanol.
Fuck me.
I don't know if that's exactly right, but basically the guy never wanted to even look at alcohol again for the rest of his life because, can you imagine?
Did he live?
Yeah, I think so.
That's nuts.
This is like third or fourth hand anecdote, but
sure.
can you imagine? But like as a segue into, can you imagine being drunk, like a shot of alcohol
every hour
for like 36
on the hour
hours
in a monitored, controlled way in a hospital? Fuck me. That's fucking shit.
Is that your idea of a good time? Because it's not mine.
A sorority girl would be like, I could totally do that, like whatever. And then like 3 hours in, no.
Where's that morphine? Let's just end this.
Oh my.
Crank it up.
Dude, I had a Xanax, like, for sure, 100%. That's what I would do. Like, literally, I would just numb the pain. I don't give a shit if I, like, overdose and die.
You ever done a power hour?
Yeah, dude. Power hours are great. Dude, power hours, like, I feel like it's a very efficient way to get drunk. Because, like, you only, like, I think it's, like, how many beers is it? It's, like, 4 beers, I want to say. Something like that.
So, I mean, it's a shot of beer, right? So
every minute, yeah.
Yeah. So
60 shots of beer, 60 ounces of beer.
So it's 5 beers in an hour.
Yeah, which is actually like, but like, even if it's not like a very alcoholic beer, like the fact that you're constantly like taking basically a big sip every hour or every minute rather.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty efficient. Like it's like I've gotten pretty drunk at power hours for sure.
Yeah.
And my favorite is those power hour playlists that are like, dude,
yeah.
It's on YouTube. Like there's one where it's like ladies of the 80s and like the fine 90s and stuff. And it's like there's one where it's like 90s boy band. There's one that's like 90s like alt rock, like Smashing Pumpkins and Nirvana and shit. Like, good nostalgia ploy for sure. Oh man. My favorite drinking game though is Slap Cup for sure. I love Slap Cup.
Slap Cup, exactly.
Slap Cup is the shit.
Yeah, dude. That was my 21st birthday. That's what got me thrown up in a plastic bag on my 21st birthday.
To be honest, I haven't really puked that many times from like when I've been like blacked out. But when I have, I don't always puke when I black out. But when I do, I make a fool of myself.
Amen to that. Yeah. Back to the power hour. The only time I ever did a power hour was I did a power of 40 minutes and then started throwing up in my sister's sink.
Throwing up?
Throwing up. I had also had a lot of rum beforehand, but
Someone comment in the chat. A moment of silence for the people running columns right now. Yo, Andras Buzas, I thank you for subbing the channel. I appreciate it. But my dude, I ran 12 columns in a day one time. That was about 3 weeks ago.
guess how many columns I've run in my PhD?
1.
0.
Fuck you. I ran 12 in a day.
And that's why you do inorganic chemistry, my friends.
I ran 12 in a day. 12.
Rip.
To be fair, 6 of them were like spot the spot, so it was fine. And then one of them was optimate. A couple were like optimization, so it was like very small scale. But like sitting there, like,
Yeah. Twiddle, twiddle, twiddle.
thumb lodged directly up my ass.
Yeah.
Oh man, what do you think is like what was the biggest culture shock for you going to graduate school? Like aside from the absurd amounts of work and the late nights and like the complete devotion of all your time, effort, and dignity into a place, and the fact that like you're just like being a slave emotionally and physically to somebody else. What was the biggest culture shock for you?
I mean, all of that is, aside from the slave part, was kind of my undergraduate experience too.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
yeah,
most everyone.
late nights. Yeah.
Yeah, I worked a lot in undergrad. I honestly like had later nights in undergrad than I've had in grad school.
Oh, for sure. I have pulled a couple all-nighters this quarter though.
Seriously.
Oh yeah, I was
Why?
because I was trying to get these fucking compounds done for collaborators, man.
Oh,
Like
man.
and also the thing that sucks is like, so I work with a lot of volatile compounds. So pinene, that's like basically a gas at room temperature.
Right, yeah.
So it's like when you work with that, you can't just like leave it overnight. Like, yeah, fuck it, I'll just like whatever, I'll leave it for in the morning. But no, you can't do that.
Yeah, I sort of stopped doing all that stuff after I qualled pretty much.
Yeah.
Culture shock. Well, my first year I lived alone, and that was weird actually, because I
Really?
lived with a lot of roommates beforehand.
Really?
I didn't really maybe fully appreciate how much I relied on the people I lived with.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, like you probably had like some good roommate experiences in college and stuff, and like living with people that you actually liked.
Yeah, I lived with my best friends.
Yeah, I've my friends too, but like I also have some fucking derelicts. Like my first year in college, I lived with a drug dealer, and I lived with a guy who he's a weird guy. Whatever, I won't get into him. But like second year, I lived with guys who get in fist fights over sports stats. you laugh, dude. You laugh.
Yeah, I do.
But and then like my last years, I lived with like friends and stuff. But like basically, the times that I was least productive in college and stuff is when I had to share where I sleep with someone like I'm not dating or whatever. Like I'm fine with living with people, but I do not want to share where I sleep. Like that whole shit with like bunk beds or like 2 beds in the same room. Like
Yeah.
no, like none of that. I wouldn't catch me dead in like a dorm or something like that, or like a single room like with a couple of beds.
Yep, that was. Yeah, I had a single room my junior year, but every other year I was living with a roommate in the same room.
I hate that shit.
It was an experience that
Yeah.
I am glad that I'm done with.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, fuck that noise. Because it's like, dude, like again, more than a shared kitchen, more than a shared bathroom, like whatever, like share TV, all that shit. But sharing where you sleep with someone that you're not actually dating or like seriously in love with or whatever, I just feel like it's like such a, I don't know, it's just an invasion of privacy. Like it's like when I want to sleep, I want to fucking sleep. I don't want to hear you fucking laughing at The Office and Netflix or whatever. I don't want to hear you fucking like playing a podcast and laughing to yourself. I want to just fucking sleep.
yeah,
And when I can't sleep, I go fucking insane.
true. Yeah, my my first and second year of college, my roommate was going through some stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so his sleep schedule was actually completely reversed.
He was nocturnal.
Yeah, and there was a lot that was driving this, but he wasn't like taking good care of himself and all that.
Yeah.
Anyways, he's like a really, really good StarCraft player. And he would spend his nights, when normal people were trying to sleep.
Or study if they're like, whatever.
Yeah. usually sleep.
Yeah.
Playing StarCraft at like 180, actions per minute, like on his mechanical loud ass keyboard. And yeah, we had some tension, but I was a very tolerant roommate.
Yeah.
Probably a little too tolerant.
Dude, if someone was like clicking on their fucking keyboard like that late at night, I would be. Oh man.
I can fall asleep through a lot though.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's a problem for me because like I can, once I'm asleep, I can sleep through anything, but falling asleep in an environment is difficult for me sometimes.
That'll do it, man.
Yeah, so I probably wouldn't have liked your roommate too much if I lived in the same room.
No.
But
I mean, we had our problems.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit. So like you're a pretty big gamer. And like, we talked a little bit about video games here and there and stuff, but you've kind of been like a PC master race like gamer for a while, haven't you?
Oh, I don't get so snobby as that.
I'm just kidding. But...
Yeah, I also hesitate to call myself a big gamer. Like I enjoy video games, but I don't play as much as I might seem.
Well, it's like
from how much I talk about it.
Sure, yeah. And also, like you built your own PC, which is like kind of like a hallmark of like a big like gamer.
Oh,
like
yeah, sure, yeah. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But it's like I love games too, but like I either have a lack of knowledge with like IT or putting together a PC, or I just don't have the desire to do it. But
oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah. But then again, I do have an entire podcast set up that I set up myself, so I can't really talk about like.
Well, yeah, that's. I mean, what like building a PC is sort of like adult Legos. Like
really,
yeah, it's like if you got good hands and you're not hitting shit together too hard or whatever, then there's very little that you can mess up with it.
Really?
Yeah, so long as you like do your reading and but like a modern PC, like everything's pretty standardized. If it fits in the slot, it's probably right.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. There's plenty of guides too.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really not hard to do.
Yeah, because I've always like thought about that because like I've never really gamed on a PC before. I've always had like consoles. I've always had like random bullshit. But gaming on PC, I feel like, well, I've heard at least like when you play a shooter on a PC, there's no going back after that. Like it's completely, it's like a different experience.
Would
you look at the chat here? Who's Tyler? Not that I hate him, just curious.
Oh,
this is my friend.
You used the wrong form of who's, my friend.
Ouch, bro, grammar Nazi. So Tyler's my boy from grad school, Disembodied Voice, and Disembodied Voice is a YouTuber that I'm friends with. But
cool.
But yeah, Tyler's here just memeing with me, having some delicious beers that he brought over to the kindness of his heart. Thank you for that.
You're so welcome.
But what the fuck were we talking about? Yeah, so like I heard that like playing like Fortnite or some shit or any kind of shooter is like a different experience on like with a mouse and keyboard.
Oh. Yeah, mouse and keyboard is way easier to play a shooter with, for sure. Yeah. I mean, that's why you'll never see like mixed matchmaking between PC and console because the PC players would just instantly kill everyone. Yeah. Like it's not fair to have somebody with a mouse and keyboard play against somebody with a controller.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know. I mean, I guess that only really applies at a certain level.
Yeah, for sure.
But
if you're like playing competitively or some shit. Yeah.
There's also like frame rate things. So like, I mean, I don't know if they're up to 60 FPS on console. I really don't pay attention, but
a couple games are. The game was just playing Kingdom Hearts 3 is up to 60 FPS. I'm not sure about shooters though. Shooters are like a little more like real time with like online play and stuff.
But I mean, like 30 FPS used to be like sort of the standard, I think, on console. Whereas like you can get up to 144 is what a lot of the monitors, like top end monitors these days, are at 144 hertz.
Holy
I mean,
shit.
Yeah, you need a pretty serious setup to hold that consistent. But
yeah, for sure.
To give you an idea of the magnitude of frame rate difference you're looking at, it's pretty insane.
Wow, that's nuts.
Yeah.
I tried streaming fucking some random ass shooter that I downloaded for free. and Macs are so bad with gaming and frame rate and shit. Wait, what is my Tyler? Is it true that NASA is a breakaway civilization that controls the entire world, and Nazis made first contact with interdimensional aliens that can be seen in the world by taking DMT? He's memeing on you because of the whole Alex Jones Joe Rogan podcast, where like that's like his premise he was saying on the podcast.
Are you trying to suggest that I watch Alex Jones' podcast?
No, Joe Rogan's podcast, but
Joe Rogan's podcast. Oh, no. I don't know.
He's memeing. Whatever. I don't pay attention to him. Yeah, that was a weird episode though. I watch Rogan's podcast pretty regularly. It's a good podcast, but yeah, the Alex you globalist. It's funny. Yeah, dude. So let's talk about that a little bit. So, what do you think about that whole internet censorship thing with Alex Jones?
Could you elaborate?
So, do you know like the whole crackdown that's been having on social media with like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube?
Oh, what, the censorship of right wing opinions?
Well, not just right wing, but like left wing too. I mean, the Amazing Atheist was banned from Twitter for a couple weeks for like some random ass joke. Like Amazing Atheist is yeah.
They're censoring like fringe opinions or conspiracy videos or.
Well, some of the conspiracy theories, but also like the Amazing Atheist was like he was banned for like I think like 2 weeks for just making a joke. And
what was the joke?
So there was this New York Times reporter that was like, she was basically like, how people like do like sifting where they go through like old tweets and like old posts and stuff, and like
yes,
and like they find like troublesome shit.
Yeah.
So this lady basically was making a bunch of like anti-white tweets where it's like, honestly, when I walk into a subway, see a bunch of white people want to kill them all.
Yeah.
Whatever.
The New York Times opinion columnist.
Yeah, whatever the hell her name is. But basically, like, had some hypocritical things happen, like with her past views versus now. And then the Amazing Atheist had a joke where it's like, I hate all white people. I hate them all so much. They're all the worst people ever. By the way, New York Times, do you want to hire me? But then he got fucking banned on he almost got banned on YouTube, and he got banned on fucking Twitter.
Yikes.
And so like my question is like, do you think like these websites like Twitter, Facebook, and MySpace and Zanga, like remember Zanga? But do you think like those things should be regulated as public utilities because like they're so monumentally massive? Because because a censorship on one of those platforms is effectively a extension of the First Amendment, because it's like they're so big, and like the platforms, like as long as you don't violate terms of service, like if people are like arbitrarily banning people, like do you think that could have any ramifications to the First Amendment or just freedom of speech generally?
Oh God, that's so tricky. I never thought about them as like public utilities in that way, but like what you're saying makes sense, honestly.
It's weird though, because like for example, like I'm from Connecticut, and you went to school in Connecticut, of course. Like honestly, I cannot really sympathize with Alex Jones in any way because he basically harassed an entire town of my state like for months and years and shit.
Fucked.
It's really fucked. But on the other hand, like if someone has a fringe opinion, then it's like, do they just automatically get banned now? And it's like, even if it's like let's say it's a fringe opinion that I agree with, for example, like the fact that like I think single payer healthcare is like a viable solution for a lot of markets, like for healthcare. So like, because
that's not really a fringe opinion anymore.
But okay, sure, but like let's say 5 years ago or something like that.
Sure, all right.
But it's like does any fringe opinion now castigate the notion that you should be banned? Like I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I think that's a slippery slope.
It is like, I think that like it should be adhered to like the First Amendment, where it's like you err on the side of caution when people obviously call violence to somebody, or like call over death threats or some shit, or shouting fire in a crowded theater. But basically, besides that, I'm more or less kind of a free speech absolutist, even though like I do find some ideologies fucking despicable. But yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do about that. It's a really tricky situation.
Yeah, it's tough when you have private companies controlling such giant communications platforms.
Yeah, like I said, it's like maybe they should be regulated as public utilities. Like maybe, I don't know.
Maybe, but I don't know. The government stepping in and seizing them as
100%,
public utilities is also
troublesome for sure.
Yeah.
You can't win.
Yeah, I don't know that there's a good answer for this, to be honest.
Yeah, it's weird. But anyway, back to Alex Jones. Alex Jones was kicked off of YouTube, like Google Plus, fucking iTunes, Spotify, everything except for his own personal website. So basically they had like the notion where it's like he's a conspiracy theorist and stuff, which is like, I don't agree with the guy on virtually anything at all. But do you think he should have been banned?
For the conspiracy theory shit or for the Newtown?
Well, the Newtown shit was a separate thing. That's a lawsuit he's going through right now.
Oh,
they banned him
okay.
specifically for the conspiracy stuff. So do you think he should be banned for that?
Well, I definitely think that it's within Twitter and YouTube.
Oh, 100%.
Right.
But, can they? Absolutely. But should they is like a different question. Where it's like, if things aren't directly violating terms of service, but they're just conspiracy theories that are like idiotic and like, people are actually buying into them and stuff. Like, does that fall under the First Amendment or does that fall under the jurisdiction as a public utility or just a social networking platform? Like, do they have the right to ban them? Of course they do, but should they? I don't know. It's strange.
I think they shouldn't, but
yeah, me personally, I don't think so either, because like
I just think it leads to problems.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and obviously,
where do you draw the line? How do you decide where to draw the line?
Yeah, that's a really tricky thing, because it's like, let's say like a guy who's like advocating for like social democracy, or a guy who's like advocating for single payer healthcare gets banned because like maybe the platform doesn't like what his stance on certain issues. Does that mean that like what he's saying is now fringe and now must be admonished? Like, I don't think so. Even though like it's going to like have those bad ideas in the ethos, like I do think that there's a place for people to actually have their freedom of speech to drown out the shitty ideas. I feel like that's the whole battle of ideas. That's what should be taking place, where you have the bad ideas out there, and then you have good ideas to actually meet them and like debate them, and then basically people who are bystanders can see how bad those ideas really are once they're actually met with like good solutions to their ideas.
Yeah. To that point, I think like public discourse has sort of fallen by the wayside, or like, intellectual discourse has sort of fallen by. And I think that's like, I don't know, it could probably be taken back to a failing of, education in the US or around the world, really, and just not teaching people how to think critically about things.
Yeah, it's like everything's so reactionary now.
Well, sure, that definitely, but also just people don't know how to figure out whether something's fact or fiction. They don't know where to go to find their information, so they go
that's
to
true. You're right.
often the loudest voices or the most confident sounding voices, and start to, believe whatever they see on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. But then again, it's like, like to your point, like people will view things from a place of like self-imposed authority, and then maybe they act upon those things. Maybe they act upon the conspiracy theories, like people who believe like 9/11 was an inside job, for example. And it's like those people shot at the Bush administration because like, they, believed with every fiber of their being that like they were pawns in a big scheme from the government. Like those obviously are really rare instances, but like, yeah, it's just strange. It's like, like if we green light worse and worse behavior on social media, then, of course people will potentially act upon those things. But at the same time, though, I don't think we should stifle any kind of free speech, as long as it doesn't like actually cause violence to somebody or any kind of that or anything like that. But to your point, though, like we have to have some kind of modicum of what is true and what is not. And I feel like, like you said, like critical thinking has not really been adhered to a lot in the educational system, at least in America, for a lot of people. Like people will cite the taxation as theft meme, for example, like every time like people present any kind of argument of economics with them. And so like instead of actually like looking at what source you've ascertained data from, they just use these kind of like these almost like buzzword talking points, like resonant talking points, which I don't know we're gonna fix that. It's strange.
Yeah, it's a big problem. I don't know that there is aside from a complete overhaul of, the education system, that I don't.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Yeah, people just have to learn how to dissect information better.
Yeah, for sure.
doesn't help that there's a lot of reputable websites and reputable people out there that also publish false shit because
Oh, for sure. Like the mainstream news media is fucking terrible.
I mean, yeah, they how often do you see like a retraction of a news article because they got their shit wrong?
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, often it's pressure to meet some arbitrary self-imposed deadline or whatever,
Yeah.
but you know, sort of unacceptable if you're purporting to be a reputable source.
I totally agree. Like yeah, like corporate media and really just mainstream media in general really like they have one motive, which is profit. And like they want to push stories that actually increase ratings, and they want to actually like, you know, be the first to get a story as opposed to be the most correct person with the story, which is like so shitty because like you're not really a news organization. You're just trying to compete for who has the biggest mouth and the biggest ear hole on the American people.
Yeah. Well, I would modify that slightly. That I don't think any of them want that. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Like they're trying to stay afloat, you know? So in the age of where all these revenues are tanking, they're trying to get the most traffic to their site or whatever.
For sure. You're
So,
trying to stay afloat, but also
what I'm
yeah.
saying is that like journalists in general they want to do a good job. It's just they find themselves unable because they have to, as you say, be the first to
Yeah, exactly.
break the story,
But-
and they often do so prematurely.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But also, I think with I think it's a problem is also like not just the sometimes objectively getting things wrong or maybe like being like early to a story when really they haven't got on the data yet. But one thing that I'm really one thing that really troubles me is like a neutrality bias, and that makes any sense. Like, for example, if you, let's say you watch a climate change debate on CNN, right? So what they'll do is they'll have, you know, the person in the middle, the host, then one person on the climate change side is a scientist or has a PhD in atmospheric science, and like they'll say like, hey, this is a real threat. And then they'll have a person saying, no, it's cold out today or it's warm out today, therefore the climate change is bullshit. If you want to, and then they say, oh, this is an objective analysis. We're like giving both sides credence. If you really wanted to portray the climate change debate in an objective way, you would have 100 climate change scientists in a committee and then one person to actually fend off all those people, because that's what the actual balance of the data and the actual discourse does. But like presenting it as a 50-50 proposition, that's not objective anymore. Like you're not actually presenting the data as it actually is. Like it's not like 50% of scientists are saying that it's fake, and then 50% are saying that it's real. It's like it's a much more like.
Well,
more,
also
yeah.
usually the person on the other side doesn't have any sort of credential at all.
Exactly.
They're just some
Nincompoop.
nut job with some.
Was I'm like, well, you know, like it's kind of snowy today. Like, did you ever see Jim Inhofe, the congressman who brought a snowball into Congress?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Oh man, that was like 2015, I think, 2016, something like that.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, that like, oh man, I don't know, man. It's like what are we gonna do about that? Because it's like it's not just the people who are wrong with the debate's fault. It's the people who are actually presenting the debate as a 50-50 proposition.
Well, and it's our, dear leader, the Donald, also carrying the torch for this shit too. Because I don't know if you saw like
The tweets.
right. Yeah. I mean, there was, for example, a tweet where he, what was it? Somebody in Minnesota announced their candidacy for president, and it was snowing outside, and he comments like, she looked like a snowman by the end of her speech, or snow woman, I guess. No, he literally fucking said that too.
Brother.
Yeah, it's if only we could get a little bit of that global warming now. It's like, dude,
My favorite thing is like
continues to this day. It's like
my favorite thing is like people use those anecdotal examples as like a reason why climate change is bullshit, when a lot of those things can be explained by warming of seawater and warming of the actual climate. Like, for example, when people cite like precipitous hurricanes or precipitous snowfalls, like how could this be true if like, we're getting hotter? Like, why is it so cold? Why is it so snowy? People often forget that how do I put this? Winter follows summer.
Amazing
And-
how that works. Yeah.
Yeah, it's God. I'm gonna get my PhD in no time now. But like,
Let's
that-
call Regan.
but like, dude, that warm water has to go somewhere at a certain point. It vaporizes, and when it happens, when it gets vaporized into a gas, different meteorological trends can actually push the water to maybe condense. Maybe it goes down to like, a monsoon. Maybe it stays in the atmosphere and through a change of barometric pressure, it comes down as like a hurricane. Maybe it turns into a snowfall. So like a lot of those weather events that we see disparately from climate can actually be explained by warming of certain elements of the climate system. So like to say that a cold day is proof for global warming being bullshit is just the most basic scientific ignorance of all time. It's like, I don't know what we're gonna do about that. Like we've tried to present data in an objective way, but like people are just cemented in their narratives where it's like it's terrible.
Well, we have to teach critical thinking, I think.
Yeah. Retweet. Oh man. Switching gears here a little bit. Let's talk about Avengers 4.
Which one are we on now? We just saw Avengers 3, right?
Yes.
Right.
Infinity War.
Infinity War was 3.
Infinity War was 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was Avengers, the Marvel's The Avengers. There's Avengers Age of Ultron, which I wasn't a big fan of, but it's fine. It's watchable.
I never saw it.
Really?
Really, really.
I thought you were like a Marvel fanboy, dude. What the fuck?
I'm not a Marvel fanboy.
Really?
I just enjoy the movies.
All
The
right.
ones that I see, I enjoy.
All right, before we get on that, what is your favorite Marvel movie?
Oh God. I really liked Spider-Man: Homecoming. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. That's something that answer you hear often from like people that love Marvel and stuff. Like I like the movie a lot too, but like I think my favorite is probably either Infinity War or Civil War. I like both of those. That's awesome.
I liked Infinity War.
I love Infinity War. I thought it was genius. And if you saw my video essay, quick plug. I talked about like Thanos as a villain and like basically his his representation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and also I love the Captain America Winter Soldier. I fucking love that one too. That one's fantastic.
Yeah. The problem is I've only seen these once, so I only saw Civil War once. I only saw Winter Soldier once.
I think I saw Civil War with you and Becky, right?
Yeah, probably.
Pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know that my thoughts on those are super well developed.
Sure.
I do remember laughing my ass off a lot at Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh, it was really funny. It was a very funny movie. The only thing that really pissed me off with that movie was the product placement.
I don't mind that.
Okay, but like if you do it in a quiet way, for lack of a better term, it's fine. But like if the model of the car you're having a propaganda for is in the script of the movie, and you bring up the owner's manual for said car, and you're like, "Ooh, look at all these features in this car!" Like in the fucking movie. Like I get it. Like movies cost money.
At a certain point, it's humorous.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
At least that's how I saw it.
Yeah, for sure. It was kind of cringe, but I will agree that like it was almost like breaking the fourth wall almost.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So from a taste perspective, I'm sort of fine with it, but
Okay, sure.
I can see like breaking the fourth wall being like, don't fucking do that shit.
Well, no, to be fair, I love breaking the fourth wall in movies. I love Big Short. I love Vice. Those movies break the fourth wall every fucking 5 seconds, which we can talk about Vice in a little bit, but
I've never seen it actually.
it's fantastic. I loved it. I'm a huge Adam McKay shill, massive Adam McKay shill.
Yeah, I need to catch up a lot on recent movies.
Have you seen The Big Short, by the way?
Yeah, I saw The Big Short.
I love The Big Short.
But it was like a recent effort to catch up with 2017. Was that when it came? When did it come out?
2015, bro.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. See how far behind I am.
God damn, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not like chronologically behind, but you get my point. I'm still catching up on 2015 movies. So.
There's a great YouTuber called Your Movie Sucks, and basically he basically sees like every single movie from a certain year, and like 3 years after the fact he'll like make a video about like the best movies of 2014, and it just came out like last year or so. So yeah, it's pretty good. Good shit.
All right. Well, yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll help me figure out what movies I need to see.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, all right, let's talk about Infinity War though, or just Avengers 4.
All right.
I think I know what's gonna happen.
All right. Tell me.
All right, spoilers for everybody. Spoilers. Have you seen Ant-Man and the Wasp?
No.
Okay. Do you know the post-credit scene for that?
No. Describe it.
You sure?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Basically, what's going to happen? All right. Well, I'll say what happens to Ant-Man and the Wasp. So, the movie has no bearing on the Marvel Universe, and it's a waste of time. The only thing you need to see is the fucking last 5 minutes in the post-credit scene.
Okay, sweet. Perfect.
All right, cool.
Love to hear it.
The post-credit scene basically is like they make a quantum tunnel. But it's not like a quantum tunneling effect, like, we understand quantum mechanics. It is a literal.
I don't understand quantum mechanics.
Well, no one does, but
Right.
but like, you know what I mean.
Sorry.
But basically, like, they make an actual quantum tunnel, which is like an actual like hallway they make, and basically it shrinks people into the quantum realm, which is really fucking silly.
Sweet.
Yeah,
sweet.
Let's go into the quantum tunnel. It's fucking hilarious. But anyway, so in the post-credit scene, they shrink down Ant-Man into the quantum realm.
Okay.
Right after they do this, Hank Pym's wife, and the Wasp all fade away. It happens at the exact same time as Thanos' snap.
Oh, okay.
So
like into the ash dust.
Yeah.
Shit.
So
Okay.
Ant-Man is completely like trapped in there.
Alone. All right. Cool.
Okay. So what I think is gonna happen is, you know how like in the first Ant-Man, like Hank Pym is super triggered about Tony Stark and is like, I'm never gonna let fucking Tony Stark get his hands on the technology and stuff. He gets a Pym particle, the entire fabric of reality is fucked basically.
Sure.
Okay. I think what's gonna happen is Tony Stark's gonna get back to Earth because Nebula has a ship, and then basically, and keep in mind, I have not seen like basically a single trailer or anything like that, so I'm just speculating. I think Tony Stark is going to build some sort of gauntlet or some sort of like suit to house Infinity Stones, and because Ant-Man now has access to the quantum realm, he can like actually use interdimensional travel as kind of like a plot point. I think what's going to happen is it's going to operate on two fronts. On one front, Iron Man and Ant-Man are going to travel through different timelines and universes and realities to get Infinity Stones. On the other hand, the Avengers are going to meet up with Captain Marvel and are going to fight Thanos, the whole Kree, whatever, the fucking alien bullshit that she does. Okay. And basically it's going to be a buddy cop movie for like, one part of the movie, and then like
for Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd and RDJ, which would be hilarious if they did that.
I sincerely hope that happens.
Because like Paul Rudd and RDJ would be the funniest fucking pairing ever. But it's like, honestly, I don't see how they can actually involve Ant-Man in a meaningful way unless they do something like that. Because like, what the fuck is he gonna do? Like, he's just gonna shrink? Like,
he's gonna shrink. Yeah.
He's gonna shrink. Like he has no.
Or he might also get big.
He's Giant Man in 2016 and Civil War. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But
open your minds, man.
But yeah, I don't see any other scenario where like Ant-Man's actually relevant as a character if they don't do something like that. Because like, why else do they have the bid where it's like, I will never let Tony Stark get his hands in there, squawk. And also like, Ant-Man's trapped in the quantum realm, so like, how are they actually going to use him in a meaningful way if he's still trapped in there? And also Tony Stark is like
trapped in space.
Yeah.
Or some shit.
Yeah, like I feel like he feels somewhat responsible. Well, I mean, that's somewhat. He feels very responsible for what's happened to like all of his friends and stuff. And so like, he's like, if I were to guess, he's gonna be the linchpin for like actually enacting the fate upon Thanos, so like getting everything.
Well, he's always been the linchpin, hasn't he?
For sure, but like I'm saying morally, like he, having Spider-Man fade right in front of him, like that was like the last straw where it's like, this is completely my fault.
That was like, my literal son died.
Yeah, like
well,
that was
not literal, but like
figurative. Yeah.
Yeah, literal in the figurative sense. Yeah.
Literal in the figurative, and figuratively moral. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, like I'm so excited for that movie, man. I literally cannot wait. And people are always like, my boy, Loverboy Media, Bailey from Breaking Banter, he did a great video on this where he was talking about like, people were saying like they were complaining like them super triggered about like Black Panther as a movie, a couple of months from now, Spider-Man as a movie. This makes no fucking sense. Why would we be sad about this? The point is not that we know they have other movies. We know they're gonna come back. The point of it was we have to see the characters see their friends disappear. It's not that like we're super broken up about like all the characters disappearing. It's the characters see each other fucking fade away and die. Like that's like the most important part of that.
That didn't occur to me.
Really? Like I just like I saw that. I'm just like, no, it's not about our reaction to the heroes fading away. It's that Tony Stark sees the person that he's basically raised fade away, and he cries on screen and stuff like that. That's the point. Like Captain America.
That's part of it.
Like
For sure.
Yeah,
I see it.
Yeah, like Captain America sees his friend that he basically has been resurrected from the dead just die in front of him again. Like Rocket Raccoon sees his only friend Groot fade away right in front of him. Like it's the reaction that we see that I think is the more emotionally gratifying part of it. Because like no one is dead in comic books except for Uncle Ben and who else? Barbara Gordon, I think. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. That I definitely get. But I will say, like, sitting in the theater watching Infinity War, I had like a visceral like reaction to watching this, and it was not just like empathy for the characters. It was also like, oh,
holy shit,
God, T'Challa, fuck.
I remember like I think you saw like opening night or something, or
early on at least.
Yeah, you saw it on the Friday. I think it opened on Thursday. You saw it on Friday. I saw it on Saturday. Yeah,
okay.
I saw it after you. I texted you. I'm like, don't tell me anything about the movie. Tell me how it is. And you said like, I was triggered.
Triggered is a good word.
Oh man, that was But yeah, I'm more excited for Endgame than I have been for any other Marvel movie ever. Because like there's no turning back from shit. And I think that's something that's really interesting. Is like everything that's happened in Infinity War, it's universe wide. So it's like not just the Avengers experience that they experienced. The entire world did. So I love the post-credit scene where like you see people disappear out of their cars. You see like helicopters crashing and shit. It's almost like, you ever seen The Leftovers on HBO, for example?
No, but I know the premise.
Yeah, basically like 3% of the world's population disappears for like no reason.
Yeah.
Like we have so much emotional mileage we can get out of that. Like we can see the entire world be desolate and empty because half the world just is gone, which is like, that's such a cool premise that like Infinity War felt like the first important Marvel movie to me. Like it had like a statement and it was like a thinking man's movie as opposed to like just like, memes and action for like 2 hours or whatever. No, don't agree.
I see it. No, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
It took me a second to digest that.
All right. Well, good.
Yeah. No, I see where you're going.
Yeah. It's like, usually, like, at the end of the movie, it's like, oh, we found, like, 4 of the 5 Dragon Balls. We need the last one. Like, and then we're going to find Thanos and shit. But, like, with this one, like, having him, like, end that movie with, like, him just, like, looking back on, like, the world and sunrise, like he told to Doctor Strange, and have him just smile. And that's the end of the movie. It was a pretty fucking brave move, to be honest with you. Because, like, that's, like, a pretty dramatic ending for a fucking comic book movie.
Oh, yeah. I mean, also, like, killing off half your people, like bold.
yeah, super bold.
Yeah, and then like of course like Thanos as a villain, like actually having motive and things that make sense. Like,
dude, that was so good. Fuck,
yeah.
like
this is like actually a good villain.
I made a 20-minute video why he's perfectly written. Oh man, it's like the thing is like you can't really call Thanos evil. Like he's definitely misguided. Like he's. Like, and the point that I make in the video is like he's a misguided like zealot, like a misguided religious extremist, where it's like he believes that what he's doing is completely correct and everyone else be damned for it. And like he thinks like he's the one making the true sacrifice of everybody because he's the one that has to go through the emotional turmoil. But really he's a monster and has to be stopped from an objective sense. But like in his own mind, like that's the hallmark of a good villain. A villain is somebody you can actually relate to and actually like see where they're coming from. And it's like, actually, Ontavis made a good point in the chat. He's evil, but like he doesn't mean to be malicious. Like he has respect for all the heroes in the story. Like the only time he actually directly kills somebody is when either someone gets in the way of his plan or tries to kill him. Like with Loki or with Gamora, has to sacrifice her and stuff.
Sure.
Every time when he gets the stone, he's like, "Thank you," and just leaves.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I think kills everyone.
Well, for sure. But I'm saying like. His goal is what's like most important. It's not like ha ha ha, you evil boy, you challenge me, you will die.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which I really fuck with. I just like Thanos was like the sickest fucking villain. Like, and that's not even like talking about like the CGI. The CGI was incredible for Thanos, which I don't know how they didn't win the Oscars for visual effects. That was pretty crazy.
I don't know what one instead.
First Man, the moon movie, which honestly I like the movie, but I don't know why the fuck that one for special effects. I had no idea.
No, I didn't see it yet.
It's good. It's not like it's Whiplash or fucking La La Land from Damien Chazelle, but
Oh, it's the same.
yeah,
Okay.
it was kind of a far cry from his original films. Like he's been like very into like depicting like troubled artists or like yeah, you know, I mean it kind of fits into this whole mantra of like, you know, the ambition and like chasing greatness, which is like
Sure.
a big thing with Neil Armstrong, but yeah, the only thing that really felt Damien Chazelle to me with that movie was like the last scene on the moon, where like they're actually on the moon. But spoiler alert, they get to the moon.
Oh, really? Are you sure they don't just get to a studio in Hollywood where it's
Oh shit. Oh man, what movies you looking forward to in 2019, bro? Blank.
Yeah, I'm blanking. Dude, what's even coming out in 2019?
Well, my big one is Tarantino's new movie, the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. That's gonna be fucking sweet. I can't wait for that.
That sounds like a movie that I will definitely see
Yeah,
in theaters.
the new John Wick, I'm really excited for. Like, John Wick's gonna be awesome. I love John Wick.
Those are great action movies.
Dude, they're a guilty pleasure, but they're like a quality guilty pleasure. It's like the action in those movies is awesome, and like the plot is so ridiculous. They kill his dog, so he gets really fucking pissed, and he literally does gun fu like at people and shit.
You ever see Mission Impossible Fallout?
Dude,
Same idea. Yeah, it's like guilty pleasure action.
but like it's a really well made guilty pleasure. Like
yeah.
like Fallout was like a really impactful fucking action movie. Like that movie was like the stunts they did were incredible.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like viscerally, like just like hit you in the stomach. Like Tom Cruise like actually jumping without wires like between roofs and shit. Like God, like is he gonna die? Like holy shit.
Like, it's not is he gonna die? It's when is one of these things gonna fucking kill that dude?
But dude, like he's like, what is he? Like, he's like 5'8", 5'9", and he's like fucking like shredded, and he literally just like throws himself off of like cliffs and helicopters and shit.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
Guy's crazy. Mad respect, I guess. Aside from like this weird Scientology shit.
is he still into that stuff? Is he like?
From what I understand, yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, indeed. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I totally get like the guilty pleasure action shit.
Yeah, I love that shit.
John Wick. Yeah.
Yeah, John Wick's awesome. Plus Keanu Reeves, like, it's just like,
What's not to love? Yeah.
like I feel like the fact that he's so bad at acting is like,
It's almost endearing.
it's totally endearing. You're absolutely right. Like, but you know what's weird is like a lot of those bad actors are actually pretty good actors. Like fucking Nicolas Cage, for example. Nicolas Cage was in Leaving Las Vegas and won an Oscar, and he won an Oscar before Leo DiCaprio did. But like, and then like he like just started like just doing shit movies like over and over and over again. And he's actually a quality actor when you actually like give him a decent role.
There was a movie that came out this year.
Mandy.
Yeah, did you see it?
Yeah.
What do you think? I never saw it, but my friends were
nuts.
raving about
It
it.
is the strangest film I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that's what they said too. And they told me like, Tyler, you gotta watch this movie. You're gonna fucking love it.
Yeah, I think you texted me about it, and like actually we're gonna go see it together, but we just got busy with school and shit. But like, dude, like that movie was nuts. Like,
Holy shit.
Like it's a weird like. You just gotta watch it.
Yeah.
All you gotta know is it's a revenge story. It's trippy, and it stars Nick Cage. That's all. That's all I have to know about it.
All right.
But like the thing is like it's the guy who made Beyond the Black Rainbow. You ever seen that movie? It's a very 80s inspired movie. Basically it's like a homage to like Grindhouse and like film stock and film grainy movies. It's visually actually pretty impressive, but goddamn, it's a fucking weird movie. But yeah.
All right.
Pretty nuts. Yeah, I have to see that. And then I'm also excited for what's the fucking movie? Far From Home, Spider-Man. The new Spider-Man movie is gonna be pretty good.
Oh, dude, for sure.
Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal's a villain is gonna be kind of interesting because like he
Doesn't really seem villainous.
Yeah. But I mean, Mysterio's not really that much of a villain, to be honest with you. Like, Mysterio's like, have you read the comics by any chance?
No.
Like, Mysterio's like a special effects wizard who, like, basically, like, in some interpretations, he's basically a guy who wants to be a hero, and basically he, like, makes villains special effects and, like, fights them to, like, get Syndrome and Incredibles.
Yeah, okay.
It's like that, but, like, not as malicious. And then Spider-Man, figures out what he's trying to do, and then, like, he, is kind of ambivalent towards it, but then he starts doing more fucked up shit, and he actually frames Spider-Man for some fucked up crimes, and they fight. I don't know how it's gonna be with him not only as the villain, but also they're not in New York, so it's kind of strange to have Spider-Man, the Guardian in New York City, not be in New York,
to be quote unquote
far from home.
Oh God. So funny.
Yeah, but like people were like worried, like some people in the chat were saying like I hope he's not actually magic like Mysterio. There's no way he's gonna be like actual magic. Like it's gonna be special effects for sure. Yeah, but yeah.
Somehow, I mean, like Doctor Strange is magic, right?
Well, he's an actual like sorcerer. He's like a wizard. But
okay. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm saying like in the story, he's like not actually a magician. He's like he's a special effects artist and like makes all like
that's what you're saying.
He makes all like the big ass like monsters to fight like himself, which is like that's how he like becomes like a hero to people, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's gonna be good. I'm excited for that. Yeah, and the new Rian Johnson movie, I think it's called Nines Out, I want to say. Daniel Craig's the lead, and I love Daniel Craig. He's a badass.
He is a badass.
He's such a badass.
I don't know whether I love him.
Well, like he's just like I don't know. He was in I recently saw a movie called Logan Lucky. You ever heard of that?
I have heard of it. I've never seen it.
Steven Soderbergh was in that, or he directed it.
I heard it was amazing.
Dude, he gave the fucking craziest performance ever. He put like a hick. Like
yeah.
Dude, nuts. Absolutely nuts. Like he was like really, really good. So like he's such a fucking good actor. Like he's gotta act more. He like rarely is in any movies anymore. But yeah.
Is he getting old?
No,
that old.
So apparently he's like very hard to work with, and also like he's like asking for just more and more and more money every time he does a movie. So it's like people don't want to pay him like $60 million to do a fucking movie, which is like for someone like RDJ or like someone like Chris Evans, I understand because like they devote themselves to only that, like in the film when they're actually like in character. But I mean, I don't know, like $60 million for a character is kind of. It's kind of a far cry
That's
from what
a
you
pretty significant cut of your budget.
Yeah, you think? Yeah, $300 million for a fucking movie.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy how like actors will like shamelessly ask for like $20 million a movie?
Well, if you're Dwayne The Rock Johnson and your name alone brings in $100 million, then
that is true. That is true. But like unless you're doing like method acting like Jared Leto or Steve Carell or like some shit, like do you really need to be paid $20 million?
No.
Yeah. It's just like
on the other hand, though, like get paid what you're worth.
For sure.
I mean, it's like I heard an episode of, I don't know, maybe like Planet Money or something recently, where they talked about how LeBron James has been underpaid on every team he's ever played for because
for the value he brings.
The value he brings, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but they literally cannot pay him enough because he brings that much value to a team.
There you go. Yeah.
Like they would have to go over the cap to pay him and the rest of the team.
How much did you get paid for last season? Do you know?
A lot, but like it's a shadow of what he gets paid for endorsements. So
yeah, true. God damn, he has so much fucking money. Must be nice.
Must be nice. Then again, guy's really good at basketball.
He's too good at basketball. Like people were saying that like Steph Curry is gonna like overtake him. I don't know, man. Like fucking LeBron James is like.
I mean, they're different.
they're so different players, but like in terms of like the prestige and the actual skill of the game, like I don't know, LeBron's kind of unfuckwittable. Like,
yeah, dude, I mean, first of all, Steph Curry has to have a very long career to, match it. And, like, there's nothing guaranteed in sports,
Yeah, for sure. People, like, get super triggered about the whole Michael Jordan versus LeBron James meme. Where, like...
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, they get super triggered. The greatest of all time. Tell me when he has fucking, like, this many fucking championship rings. Brr. I don't know.
I think it's a weird thing to get triggered about.
My sophomore year of college, people get in fistfights over fucking sports stats. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. That was great.
Oh,
like,
yeah. College.
People just screaming at each other about the fucking, he's the best fucking defender. No, he's fucking not. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
Jesus Christ. Just
that's what I live with. Yeah, that was fun.
Fuck already.
Fuck. Oh, man. Oh, shit. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time, so any other topics you want to bring up before we end this bad boy?
No.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, this has been the Lone Campus Podcast, episode 22. This has been Tyler. He'll be back. This has been an awesome episode, so we'll definitely do this again sometime soon. We'll do some nice beers and, chill sesh.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
Lactose beer, bro.
Cheers to Half Acre. These are empty.
They're empty. All right. And with that, we're out of here. Peace out.
All right.